Hello everyone. I'm Dr. Bhupinder Preet Bedi from MBA department. I am associate professor over there. So we are going to discuss today the topic HR Insights, a way to people management. So we'll see how people are being managed in this topic, and there are learning objectives which would be discussed through this session. So firstly, we'll see what are the various learning objectives. So these learning objectives under people management: how to select staff, how to go for training sessions, how to motivate the people, as well as how to manage them, and how to create people capability maturity model. So firstly, we'll see what is people management. People management is a part of human resource management, very important area where we see how people are being managed. So this is also when we talk about the leaders, the future leaders, when we talk about successful managers, when we talk about executives, then they have to understand like how important it is to manage people. So there are various techniques which we will also discuss under this program. So this is basically a process to train people, to motivate people for going for the talent acquisition, as well as how to optimize the workplace productivity. So the more leaders they would be handling people management activities, the more successful organization will be. So people management activity have direct relationship with the organizational excellence also, as well as the organization's performance and effectiveness. So when we talk about why youngsters they would like to join Google, they would like to join such kind of organizations like IBM, Google, HCL Technologies, Infosys. So we generally see they have very strong people management strategies, or we can say they have people management practices also. So why people management? We will also discuss why it is required. As we generally say, this is the, after the pandemic situation or before the pandemic situation, this has always been the buzzword. So here we see people, those who are the important assets of any organization, they need to be nurtured well. They need to be retained, and it is very, bad sign for any organization if strong people or good people they are leaving the organization. What if we are hiring the people today, and after 6 months when we would be providing them rigorous training sessions, what will happen if after 6 months these people they are leaving your organization? So what would be the scenario? What would be the situation? Again, it's a heavy cost for the organization, which is generally incurred on talent acquisition, on selecting the people, as well as on their training sessions, placing them on their orientation programs. What if people they are leaving your organizations after 6 months, after 7 months, having rigorous trainings, having undergone the rigorous trainings, then what will happen? So it is never a good sign for the organization. So that is why people management techniques, people management strategies are very important. So this is the very important scenario for the organization. So effective people management is an important contributor to any project success for any organization. So here we see what are the important factors which no one should forget. Not the team leads, not the managers, not the leaders, not the stakeholders, etc. So here we can see we have created a team. So people they are going for the team management strategies also. So we have to consider consistency, we have to consider respect, we have to consider the inclusion as well as honesty. So consistency is basically once your efforts are also consistent with your goals. To what extent consistently your leader is putting up efforts. If by the time after 5 years you will become the leaders of the organization, or you will join as executives of the organization, or chief operating officer or chief executive officers, then we have to maintain the consistency. Your targets, your goals, your realistic goals, as well as the moment you set the goals, you have to start your efforts. You have to be very active. So respect is another important phenomenon where everybody would like to be treated in a dignified manner. Every employee of the organization would like to be treated in a respectful manner. So that is very, very important. Only then we can create synergy. Only then we can create a successful team in the organization. Inclusion, where there would be a congruence. There are people in the organization, those have different diverse backgrounds, they have different regional backgrounds, people, those who are working from the different nationalities also. There are people, those who are working from the different age groups. So this is the speciality of your leader, that how to create a team where we need to keep the differences, we need to set the differences aside, and we have to work as a team. Also, in inclusion, I would like to quote one point, that is, accommodating everyone, involving everyone in the decision-making processes. Once we have to decide on some complex issues at workplace, and these are the people, those who are actually facing the issues. So we need to involve everyone. Last but not least, honesty. That's also, once we focus on transparency. So honestly, if leader will put up the efforts, of course, my actions would be followed by my team members. So that is very, very important if we want to create a successful team, as well as we want to go for the people management strategies. So the very first point, selection of staff. That is very, very important factor. Once we say any organization or any HR manager or the leader, future leaders, they have to go for the talent acquisition processes. So this becomes the first and foremost step, how to select people for your organization. So that is very, very important. The more, we'll go for this rigorous process for searching people, from where to locate people, whether we should go global, as well as we should search candidates from the same periphery. So that would purely depend upon the vacancies. So selection of people, it also includes CV, preliminary, search for the candidates, as well as their screening sessions, also conducting interviews, their mentoring sessions, as well as talking with the candidates, establishing a dialogue, as well as going for the test, depending upon the vacancy, depending upon the area for which we are trying to select the staff. Last but not least, this would go also for the recommendations and comments. Recommendations, wherever your candidates, they have already worked somewhere and they have recommended someone's name, and we can also find out the reviews for such kind of candidates. Those have mentioned the recommendations in their resume or CV. Now, this is another important point, how to motivate people. This is also very, very important phenomenon, where we have to see whether our candidates, we are able to retain them, we are able to motivate them. The more motivated people means you have more retention of your candidates, and it is going to impact your business processes, it is going to impact the employer branding, it is also going to impact your customer retention also. The more motivated people, the more productive organization is. But how to create fully motivated team? That is also being involved in the people management strategies. So how to motivate people? Generally, we would go with this graph, as we already know, like Maslow has given us this concept for psychological needs, for safety needs, for belonging needs, for esteem needs as well as the self-actualization needs. So we generally assume that their physiological needs are being fulfilled. Then people, they will strive for the security needs. After once the safety needs or security needs are being fulfilled, then a manager or a leader, they have to see what kind of other needs are simultaneously arising. Once we fulfill the physiological, then we go for the security needs, and simultaneously the future leaders, they would focus on the belongingness needs also. Like we are making them member of some informal clubs or formal groups or some kind of club memberships we are providing them so that their belongingness needs can be fulfilled. Then we are talking about your psychological, which suits to the psyche of a person, that is about the status needs. What is the status of the employees in the organization? That talks about your career graph, your competency mapping, providing the challenging work environment, as well as providing you promotions, growth, etc. in the organization, praise, recognition, etc. So last but not least, this talks about creativity. This talks about providing you an open environment where you were striving hard since last many years in the organization. While working in the organization, you might be having your own goals, you might be having your own passions, which has a lot of congruence with your organizational goals. So this is the responsibility of your future leaders, of your managers, your team lead, to take care of this aspect also, self-actualization needs. So this can be fulfilled once we accept the facts, as well as we provide them an open environment. So this is about the motivation. Now this is the description about these motivation, which we have already discussed. So social needs through the allowing the informal communication. Esteem needs, recognition of the achievements. Esteem needs also focus on giving a pat on the back, giving them recognition, giving them praise, as well as self-realization to train people what they want to achieve in the organization. So another thing which is very, very important once we talk about motivating people, since we are talking about the people management strategies. So how to manage people? It's a long, rigorous process. It's not a one-shot affair. So in this long, rigorous process, we have to see, we have different kind of personality types. There are people in the organizations, those who are very much, task-oriented people. There are people in the organization, those who would like to work individually. They are self-oriented. They are the people, those who are more individualistic in their attitude, in their personality. There are people, those who are interaction oriented, they would like to talk to others, they would like to socialize, they have excellent communication and interpersonal skills. So these are the different categories, and we have to accept them as it is, as an individual, and we as a leader, we have to search some different opportunities for these kind of different personalities. So here it is, once we see how to manage groups. So that would be, really important factor once we are going for the people management strategies. As we have already discussed, like there are different people, those who belong to the different age groups. Some are, aged people, they are working in the organization. Some are millennials, fine, as well as there are baby boomers, still those who are working in the organizations. So this is a, different age groups people, they are working together, as well as under one roof. In MNC, we generally see people from the different regional backgrounds. Not only regional, but people are different in their nationalities also, like Europeans, people from Arab world, Americans, fine, Asian people, they are working together. So what if there would be a lot of conflicts? If these things are being handled properly, if these people are being managed properly, then definitely they will come out as a wonderful team for the organization. So we'll see how to manage the groups. Here are few different important matters which we are going to discuss while we are studying the people management strategies. Under people management strategies, we have seen selection of people, we have seen how to motivate individuals. Now we are focusing on how to motivate the groups as well as how to manage the groups. So group interaction becomes the first and foremost part of the performance of a team or a group, as well as managers must do best which they can do with the available staff, available people, available human capital. So these are only the leaders, those who can convert their individual members into the human capital. Because human capital, we are investing a lot. Only then we can say, so these are the staff members, these are the employees, these are the workers of any organization, which are generally considered human capital, because we invest a lot while we are selecting them, we are training them, and we are placing them at the right place, as well as we are conducting the orientation programs for them. We are trying to set good successful compensation program for them. So these people, they would be considered the human capital. So here we'll go with the how to manage groups. This is very, very important. We'll see group composition. As we have just discussed, group composition, there would be people from the different age groups. There would be people from the, males, females, transgender employees, they are working. There are people from the different nationalities. Then we will go for the cohesiveness. If we have a different kind of people in our group, then how we will create the cohesiveness? How we will create the compassion for their colleagues also? Then group communication. What kind of communication would be there? Whether it's a two-way communication or, it would be top to bottom or bottom to top. What kind of communication? Open communication, closed communication. What kind of communication would be the the suitable one if we want to manage the groups in a perfect manner? Last but not least, what kind of group organization would be there? How we will allocate the responsibilities, where we are going to find out the skill shortage, skill gap, competency mapping. So that also, that becomes very, very important for everyone, be it a aged person or a, youngsters or the millennials. This becomes very, very important. So these are the different things which we are going to see. So group composition, here we see there are task-oriented people, there are self-oriented people, there are interaction-oriented people also. Fine. So task-oriented people, we generally say type A personality. Fine. Everyone wants to do their own things. They are very much target oriented. They would like to achieve the goals within the specified time limit as well as effectively also. Everyone wants to be the boss. What kind of people would be there? Those who would like to be the boss of their own domain. They are very much individualistic. Fine. If we will give them some individual responsibilities, they will create wonders for the organization. But sometimes these individualistic people, those who are very individualistic in their personality, sometimes they are not very good team players. So we need to work on this area also. If we would like to, being the CEO, being the chief people officer, fine, chief operating officer, if I am working only on the task oriented people, it means I am missing the other one. If I am only working, making the strategies for the individualistic people, I am missing another important area of the organization where people, they are the very much interaction oriented people. They have good communication skills. They have effective communication skills. They have leadership skills. They can be the, successful leaders in the organization. So as a chief people officer, as a manager, as a leader, as a team lead, we have to work on all these categories. And we have to create an open environment. Generally, we say in HRD, octapace. Fine. So we have to create such kind of environment where we can utilize their potential to the maximum. So now, what is the group composition? Generally says a leader knows where he wants to go. He starts and finally he arrives, what would be the group composition? Fine. So now we will talk about cohesiveness. To what degree, to what extent people would feel they are cohesive? To what extent they will feel that they have the similar feelings, they have the shared values with their companions also. So these, we leaders, we managers or chief people officer, we need to create such kind of scenario where we will feel like we have compassion for the other member also. We are, directed towards one goal by our members as well as by the chief people officer also. So group is much more important than individual. We all individuals, we have our own perspectives, we have our own attitudes, we have our own aspirations, but until or unless we are going to make up a group, we will never be successful. So that also needs to be taken care, duly taken care by our members as well as by the HR leaders. So cohesiveness can be only encouraged through various strategies. That is developing a group identity. Like I belong to a successful group. I have been given a particular task to achieve, as well as we can conduct some kind of social events. We can conduct some kind of, team building exercises. So once we will conduct the team building exercises, the more we are conducting the social events, the more we are conducting the team building exercises, we are trying to minimize the clashes, trying to minimize the conflicts. Only then synergy would be created. So here we'll see communication. It also plays really, really important role. Why we say a leader must possess the good communication skills also. So that is communicating your, expressing your views, communicating your views to a large number of people, as well as listening to your members. This is very, very important as a team leader. So that is for the effective group functioning, that is important. That also strengthens the bond amongst the members of any team or any group. Last but not least, organization. Small groups generally organized informally without a rigid structure. Sometimes we see there is a rigid structure, sometimes we see there are flat structures, and sometimes we see there is a formal structure of the organization where people, they are being bound in a specific territory. In flat organization structures, we see they are the kind of informal organization structures. So for large projects, there may be hierarchical structures. So hierarchical structures are generally called like pyramidal kind of structures. Those which are not having the rigid structure, they are called the flat organization structures. Generally we see in the MNC, once you people would like to work in the MNCs, you will see there is a scenario of flat organization structures. So this depends upon the size, this depends upon the situation, this depends upon the number of factors, what kind of organization of a group would be there. So we have a very, very important model which is known as People CMM also, which is known as People Capability Maturity Model. So this is the crux of this is the important insight of this whole session, how capability maturity model can be provided, can be created, where we will see people, they are cohesive, they are working as a team, but how capabilities would be created. So here we will see there are different things in People CMM model. What is People CMM model? So that's a framework for managing the development of the people involved in a particular project or a task. Like Google is also striving for People CMM model. Then there are other IBM, HCL Technologies. These companies, like we generally say for the Amazon, we also say for the for the domestic firms also, they are creating the People CMM model just to capture for the fullest utilization of their potential of their candidates. So this is about the development of the people. Development of the people, once we say, for their capabilities, enhancing their capabilities, making them more productive, so that our organization will become productive organization. Why this people CMM is required? To improve the organizational capability. If one member's capability would be increased through training sessions, through learning and development, like we need people from the an analytics background, then we are hiring, or we are giving the training sessions to our existing members. We are trying to develop their capabilities in this particular area which is required, like data, big data analytics, AI, as well as machine learning. So we are enhancing their capabilities, as well as to align the motivation of the individuals with that of the organization. Organization requires, lot many organizations nowadays, they require to be technology driven organizations. If we say they would like to be technology driven organization, then what they are going to do with their existing staff? Are they going to hire everyone belonging to the AI specialist or the data analytics or the machine learning, or they are going to build up the competencies of their existing members also? This is also altogether related with the reskilling. Fine. So this is about finding out the skill shortage, finding out the skill gap, and working on their competency, working on their enhancing their capabilities, so that retention would be higher. The more we are investing in people, the more we are investing in training and development, the more we are investing in learning and development, we would be having retained staff with us. Otherwise, capable people, they would be leaving our organization. As I told you once I started, that would not be the right sign for any organization. So here we'll see, we are in the completion phase of our session. How people CMM is being created. There are some kind of initial steps which are being taken. Here, initial step talks about, once there is inconsistent management, we are trying to be more consistent. So this is the first and foremost step. We would be doing repeatable actions, repeatable efforts. Sometime we are changing the size, we are changing the structure, we are changing the composition, we are changing the processes. So we are into the transition phase. So here we are doing the repeatable things so that we can try to get the perfection. Repeatable, then we would become more defined. These are the people management strategies. Here we will become more defined as an organization. Now this is the phase where we would like to have a set pattern, defined pattern. Then we would be working on that pattern so that we can excel. So this is about the managed, and last is developing and optimizing, getting the returns out of it. So this talks about optimizing model. We are trying to, striving for the change. We are striving for excellence. We are striving for quality. So this talks about the, not the last but not the least stage, optimizing stage. So here I would like to show you these 5 models. Level 1, as I told you, talks about the inconsistent management. Then we will move forward for the people management. People management, here we would reach to the level 2, which would be a bit managed, but still we need to work a lot. So that level 3 would be attained after the people management, where we would be working on the competency mapping. Competency mapping, finding out, providing the feedbacks through the appraisal systems. We are finding out the skill gap. We are finding out the skill shortage also in our organization. We are also finding out why people are not performing up to the mark. So here we will see what are the competencies which are actually need to be nurtured. So this talks about the competency management. Then it would be, the leader will move forward for the level 3. This is called predictable, where we are talking about the people CMM model, capability management. As our organization wants to be technology driven, then we need people, we need workforce, those who are excelling in the similar specialities or characteristics, those who are excelling in the same field, like data analytics people, like AI people, as well as people those who are well versed with the technology, people those who are well versed with the machine learning, etc. So here we would start working after finding out the skill gap, after finding out the skill shortage, we will start working on the capability management, which generally talks about the knowledge sharing also. It generally talks about the whole organization is becoming productive. Last but not least, continuously improving practices. This talks about your Kaizen, continuous improvement. As Japanese firm, they talk about their products, they talk about the quality of their customer services. We are talking about the quality of the internal processes of the organization, internal systems of the organization. Here the change management talks about your, we are striving for the quality as well as we are striving for the excellence. So this level 5 would be attained once we have worked on all these levels. Initial inconsistent management, then we became defined, we became consistent also, then through competency management we started finding out the competency best practices also, then we measured, we analyzed, as well as we tried to empower our members with some kind of strategies or expertise which is about which talks about the capability management and ultimately the change management practices, where actually now we are in this phase, we are trying to optimize the systems. Fine. So my dear students, everyone, so we have discussed these various levels where we can achieve the last but not least the level that is about the quality. So thank you so much. Here we can see through this session how we can achieve the optimizing level, as well as it would have a direct impact on the organization's branding also, and we would be yielding the returns out of it. Thank you so much.